Evening and welcome to the Cognitive Rampage. Little excited tonight. Been on fun, nervy edges. Tomorrow at the Hampton Inn here in Naples, I'll be giving the first live talk rampage here in Naples, Florida, and it starts at 10 o'clock. I'll go on stage probably about 11. It's all totally booked now. There's standing room around the edges and in the back. RSVP early next time. If you'll check out the website too, at cognitiveRampage.com, you'll see I already have the second flyer posted for the November 1st event. The November 1st event, I'm teaming up with Leo, who you've seen on the show many times. He's a relationship expert, but he has a 5-step assessment to recognizing the right relationship. So him and I are going to team up, and we're going to do a Cognitive Rampage November 1st together, and we're titling it Recognizing the Right Relationship. I'm going to cover how to spot abusive relationships, how to avoid codependency, how anger plays into communication when we're dealing with relationships, and a few other aspects of recognizing potentials of a relationship. Then Leo will finish up the show giving his 5-step assessment along with some other things. So that show's exciting. I can't tell you how, come on in Leo, I can't tell you how excited I am about some of the things that are just unfolding at the Cognitive Rampage. I have my Twitter live too, so if you're tweeting me, say hello. I do want to get a couple things right. What I was talking about is Ed Unger is a friend of mine, developer, music producer extraordinaire, list goes on. I'll have him on the show soon, Ed. Anyway, Ed and I are looking to find a way to team up and do what Ed does and bring it to the Cognitive Rampage for the music section. So Ed masters music, all kinds of things, but I want to send you guys to a couple links of Ed so you can check out what he does, and hopefully you'll be seeing us teamed up with him in the future. But directly you can go to edunger.com. That's EDUNGER.com. And that's dance, acoustic, and electric music. Then you can go also, the vision that I loved about Ed when I talked to him is he has this school that he runs. He teaches people, young kids, all kinds of people, basically music production, teaches people how to be entrepreneurs with music. He's passionate about music as much as I am, if not further. But anyway, his school, you can find that at computerproducer.com. And that's an online production school. Those of you that want to learn how to take the music that you're doing and make it a passion and a business in your life, Ed can help you with that as well. And the last shout out he sent me to put out there is Blue Sound Studios, and that's for music production, web and business development with your music, and that's bluesoundstudios.com. Ed, there's a shout out for you. So check out some of the things he's doing. But I'm excited because the music part we're going to start including. As you know, I'm a freestyle poet, spoken word poet, etc. I may be posting later. I randomly kicked a freestyle last night, just messing around, and it came out okay. And what I did is took the Cognitive Rampage approach and freestyled it in a song. But Ed is actually mastering some of that stuff right now. He's turning it into a song, doing what Ed does, and I'll be posting that on the website sometime. But just so many things, happening at the Cognitive Rampage, man. It's just the universe is unfolding as it should. When we decide to make choices and make a jump and say, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm going to do it. When we commit like that, that universe just it unfolds almost magically for us.
Yeah, it does, and you'll love this. What he came out freestyle last night. We were just going over the different phases he's going to be presenting in the workshop, it's really good stuff. But just to summarize it all, it was just flowing out of there. So
it was fun, man.
We'll definitely like this.
We get creative in the cognitive cave here sometimes. A couple things I do want to point out. I skipped over a lot of announcements, man. This will be our last live Ustream show on the Cognitive Rampage. There's so many things happening. What we're doing now is we're moving to a podcast,
right?
As well as Leo's show is as well. But we're moving to the podcast, and we're going to sign up with the Apple Network. So you'll be able to find our show on the podcast app or iTunes next week. So we won't have a set time where we're releasing shows anymore, but we should be releasing anywhere from 1 to 3 shows a week. So we're going to increase the amount of content we're putting out. But it'll be all via podcast. It will be embedded on the website. So just going to cognitiverampage.com will allow you to listen to the podcast as well. So we're going to move from there, and what we're doing is we're going to be filming these talk rampages that we're giving. We're going to film those. We're going to package them up nice and pretty because they are life instruction manuals, if you will. The cognitive rampage approach, the talk I'm giving tomorrow, is an approach that you apply when you're in a transition in your life or you want to create a transition, like a change. So that's what that talk is on tomorrow, but soon you'll be able to download those live talk rampages from iTunes. There'll be some digital downloads for you. So if you can't make the live talks, you can always download the digital talk and listen to it and still get the experience that people that are there are getting. Although being there live is a totally different experience.
Absolutely.
For sure. So so many changes at the Cognitive Ramp, growth, I should say, at the Rampage. So I'm excited about those things. I'm rambling, but Leo, we're going to be starting Leo's show. It will also be navigating to podcast. It'll be called Truth Not Emotion, Getting It Right with Relationships. I told you he's a relationship expert. But his show is really unique. That podcast will be coming out. He'll probably be putting out about 1 a week starting next week. But he'll be talking to couples. And you know what? You talk about it, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we make things way too complicated. The approach to the cognitive rampage, this theoretical structure. We're trying to make it's so that it appeals to everyone's own personal truth.
Yeah.
I mean, it fits your philosophy. It's not like you have to adapt a new way of thinking. It's tapping into what you already know, but sometimes emotionally that gets stuffed down there and you lose that perspective. And you just start making those choices on emotions. And, I always say that emotions make lousy choices. You got to make sure it's coupled right. So I think with the assessment, I've been using this for over 20 years, and I still get postcards from people saying they finally got it right. So I hope that's going to maybe fast forward to, some life events, and everyone who's going to be listening, they're going to, change the course of what they've been doing. A lot of times they said they keep meeting the same person, the wrong person over and over. This sort of breaks that cycle, and it makes it compatible with you. So between this theory that you're going to be hearing, wish you were all in Naples. And it's really something that can be life changing. And certainly you put that into a relationship context. Certainly that aspect of life is going to be affected by it. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on, but all good stuff.
I love the 5-step assessment, right? I think we all have a knack or a love for those things to where we can run through a little assessment real quick and get some true insight into things. Like I love taking those, all kinds of quizzes and assessments and things that work. And I've been over your 5-step assessment many times, and it applied perfectly to my wife's relationship and I. So and we're quite happy. So the assessment seems to work, but that intrigue to be able to take assessments or programs, if you will, and break them down. It leads me to an issue that I have is that when people assume that once a system or a process has been built for something, that's the process, that's just what it is. And people, they almost create a cognitive dissonance about it to where that's just the process, and because it's the process, that's the time it takes. What does it take? I mean, because that's what I do. Part of what I do is coming in with new strategies to say, hey, what's your program? What are you running? Just because it says 3 months doesn't mean we can't do it in 3 hours. Right. And that's what I push. That's the strategic push that I have. That's the angle I take when I work with people. But, getting people to think and let go of the concrete beliefs about processes. I mean, how do people begin to break those schemas or those concepts that they have that, look, this is how you do it, for recovery or sobriety, for instance. Right. I hate the fucking word recovery. I mean, it almost implies relapse. And so, we may look at a 12-step program that says, well, here's the 12 steps, here's the process, it takes X amount of time. Well, why the fuck? Why? Who says that fucking so? And the reason I say is that when I work with clients, I'm going, fuck what someone says it is. You know, why can't, I mean, we got to look at processes and go, okay, forget the steps in the process. Let's get to the root of the problem, figure out the strategy, and make the changes now.
Right.
You know, I mean, how do we get people out of that notion that just because a process has been set into place doesn't mean that that's the process?
Well, I mean, if the process has been set in place with faulty thinking, I mean, then you've lost sight of the initial thing that went wrong in the first place. It's like if that initial thought was wrong, then everything that follows it may be logical, but you're staying within the concept of something that's not based on your own truth, your own belief system.
Right.
And you keep trying to work something in circles based on how you're feeling about whatever, but the initial belief is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why I like this assessment is because one way, yeah, it's a process, but the process is quick. Because instead of trying to figure out why I feel the way I do,
right?
Well, screw the feeling. It's not about the feeling.
Yeah.
In other words, that feelings aren't facts.
Right.
Okay.
That's why I say, who gives a fuck how you feel about it?
I mean, you feel like it's a fact because, well, I feel this way. That is the fact. Well, no, that's how the situation is making me feel. But I mean, the idea when you take it outside yourself, when you use that third party, you know, if another person you actually care about is in that same relationship with those same feelings, how many times have you've had a friend that's been in a relationship and you're wondering, like, what the hell are they thinking? Right. I mean, you can see it clearly, like, why are they doing that, or why do they put up with that? But they're lodged in that process of thought that's based on an irrational belief.
And this
generating those emotions.
And that irrational belief could be, look, I've tried it every other way, so I know that this is the way. So if people out there that have a process for something are going, no, it's that process because we know, for me, that's a concrete belief that says that it's all been exhausted.
Right.
It's unscientific. You know, to make statement of fact about a process, to me, is unscientific.
Well,
to say that this lies the only process that this happens.
But that process is comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm used to working that process, what I'm thinking is, what did I do wrong here? What did I do wrong in my process?
Mm-hmm.
And I meet another person that may have very similar traits to the last one that didn't work out.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you meet that person being on that job interview, you know, they're not showing anything but what they want you to see. And you may pick up under some mild traits there that were sort of similar to the guy I had before, but they're very mild.
Yeah.
And I'm an expert on this kind of person. So I start working the same process, but now with another person. But what happens is, when that person starts to be more genuine, those negatives start to magnify, and now I'm doing the same thing of trying to fix it like I did last time. So you keep having the same results. But the minute you take it outside, and if another person was in that same situation, that same feeling, that's where you say, what would I hope they would do, what would I hope they wouldn't do?
Yeah.
What would I advise?
Yeah.
At that moment, you got objective for a second.
Now, and that's the moment of making the choice, you know, and that's when we're making choices. But I'm you know, talking about before we get there, when we get to the point and say that something's happened to us, or we need to get from one place to another. Let's say we've let ourselves get out of shape, or we've let ourselves get unhealthy, you know, so we turn back around and we say, well, we know the process is long and arduous, you know, or let's say we feel depressed even, or we've been, you know, drinking too fucking much for too long. And so, I mean, we have this notion of this idea, this concrete belief that, well, since I've gone this far, and I've been drinking this long, or using this long, or depressed this long, then I understand that, you know, we have to respect the process. And that process says that, which there's truth to respecting the process of change.
Well, I mean, life is about process.
Right, but I mean, to get from A to B, if we're saying, you know, I'm feeling A, depressed, anxious, I'm using, etc., or even, you know, my life's okay, but I'm bored, it's stagnant, right? To make that change, I think people automatically assume that there's this long, arduous process. Rather than if we can attack something immediately, you know, that these processes are set in stone, that leads me to my point I was trying to make is it just simply empirical data that makes the process defined as the only way?
No, I don't think so. I think it's more a belief system, but it's a false belief. I mean, I feel like because it took so long to get to where I'm at, it's going to take that same amount of time to get out of it.
Or longer.
But
like people assume.
But yeah, I mean, the whole point is you're running parallel to the road that is actually the truth. Okay, you're over here trying to make sense of why I'm on the wrong road.
Right.
Instead of just stopping, decide where I want to go and make a hard left turn.
Yeah.
And then get back on the main road.
Yeah.
Instead of figuring, well, eventually this is probably going to hook up to where it needs to. No. Way too complicated.
Sure.
So the minute you can say, well, if this wasn't me, I know what I would advise. At that moment, you just you're back on the on-ramp at that moment. As instead of trying to find some way to justify my thought process that is going to tie me into something I can feel good about.
Yeah.
Because you're on the wrong road trying to find it out. I mean, no matter how much you want to go to Miami, if you're going north, you're going to end up in Tampa.
That's right.
Okay? Until you stop and think, wait a minute, where the hell am I going? I mean, I've been on this road 10 times. It has never taken me to Miami.
Yeah.
So I stop, I think about it. Let's see, where's the sun and all that kind of stuff. And realize, hell, I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And the minute you recognize what that truth is, you have cut the process. It could be years. You can cut it by years. But that moment, now you start moving forward in the process based on truth.
Right.
As opposed to trying to make sense of the emotion.
Yeah, so it's important how we move forward. If we're mastering something or wanting to change something, we need to move forward meticulously, specifically, with what we're doing or what we're changing or treating, for sure. Excuse me. I think the universe doesn't want to change, so it's trying to inhibit me from talking tomorrow.
I'm thinking.
So it's been getting me, but I talk a lot about substance abuse or whatever the hell that you want to call what society deems as abuse or dependency or whatnot. And I harp a lot on those 12 steps that people say, because for me it kind of outlays that there's a must-to process, of recovery, of change, of changing things in lives. And we all know recovery rates for 12 steps in the 1 to 2 percentile of this process, but yet this process has been unvisited, and at least on a nationwide scale, about what's happening. And Joe Rogan on his show, or no, not on a show, he tweeted the other day, which I thought was great, I think I told you about, is a gentleman in California won $2 million because he sued a treatment facility because the treatment facility was funded by Medicare, government money, but was a 12-step program and required a patient to take on something of a higher power of their choosing. Mm-hmm. Because this patient chose not to select a higher power, right? I think he even tweeted that they jailed the person because he wouldn't cooperate in the facility, that they jailed him, and then he sued and won. Mm-hmm. But I've always had this same issue is, all right, so we separate government and state, church and state, but government is funding treatment facilities of substance abuse that are mainly 12-step programs, which are higher power funded programs that have a 2% recovery rate.
Right, but we always got to see that there's a lot of programs with 2% recovery.
Sure.
The thing is...
But I'm looking at results of something,
And the whole thing with substance abuse, that's why I'm excited about this new theory, because the whole concept of substance abuse, the recidivism rates in all different aspects are really high.
Yeah.
I think if 12 steps does anything, it gives someone something to lean against.
Sure.
But if you...
Better than nothing.
Yeah, if you take it on as that is... I'm using that as my thought conscious. I'm using that as is what makes my choices, then you're becoming codependent on something that's meant to help you.
Sure.
But if that stimulates thought, I mean, they have a saying, fake it till you make it. So in other words, I believe that I can actually kick this drug. So now I got this whatever treatment method is it seems like there's possibilities here.
Sure.
So that gives me a little bit of hope, that there's a possibility. It gives you a little bit of confidence that maybe I can do this.
Right.
The good part is it starts to change your belief system that is never going to change.
It can create a paradigm shift, most definitely.
Yes,
and,
but
and I don't want to get twisted that I'm like, anti-12-step to a point,
right.
Because the people it saves is the people it saves. So, and that's 100% concrete fact.
Right.
You can't deny that. So there's holes in every theory and process,
right.
But it's the connection that I try to make to is that you just made with recidivism rates. We keep using this 12-step approach that does work for those that apply it and do it in their lives, etc. But I just think how nice is it for a theory to say that if the theory didn't work, it's because you didn't apply it properly. I mean, that's a real fail-safe. But I mean, what part of it do we say it's the operation, not the person being operated on? Where's the separation to say that, okay, there's flaws in what's going on here,
right.
Not the fact that you just didn't believe in something higher than you or didn't do it right.
Right. I mean, you're just taking one tool, and if it doesn't fix it, then you're saying then it can't be fixed.
Right.
And I mean, that's the whole thing is whatever tool you pick up to change something, the only way you're ever going to change anything consistently is to change what you believe.
That's right.
It all starts with that belief.
I agree.
And those 2% or whatever percent it is that it's effectual with, it had some impact of changing the belief, and the choices that came after that start to lead them back towards the main road where it was consistent with their own sense of truth. But if you're not changing your belief, you're believing in someone else's belief.
Exactly.
That's where it's not going to be effectual. So, I mean, no matter what what type of method you use to look for change, it has to be based on your own sense of truth.
Agree. And don't get me twisted either. When, in our field, our jobs almost are to criticize what's been put out there and then build on top of it.
Right.
So what the 12 steps initially brought back in 1930 something, was a groundbreaking something. It laid a foundation. What I'm trying to do is say, look, we haven't taken a look at this thing really.
Right.
And said, what's good from, what can we pull from it and utilize to create things? And in this cognitive approach that I have, this cognitive rampage approach, it pulls, elements from every theory that I believe that has success in it.
Right.
And found a way to fast forward these things through people's lives and initiation and change immediately. And I mean, it changes me immediately in my life. I mean, people ask me for empirical data on my theory, and I say, you're talking to a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I'm alive because of it. But my point is, although I may sound like I'm, negative toward any type of theory, be it the 12 steps, it's not, for me, it's constructive. So when we're debating about treatments, when we're debating about processes, when we're debating about pharmacology, modern day psychiatry, when we debate those and talk about those, for me, that's the growth part of it. And if we can get people talking about those things, if anything, it's leading to some sort of competence or change or at least investigation. We need to be aware of the processes that we just download into our lives automatically.
Right. Well, I mean, the whole idea, if you have passion against something, I mean, that's illuminating.
Sure.
I mean, because that's creating a discomfort.
That's the start.
And so what is it then you don't agree with? And what is it that you would agree with? I mean, you're finding your way back to yourself then. And so if something is ego dystonic or doesn't fit, there's a reason it doesn't fit. But if you look to see what I don't like about something and just stay there, you get nothing from it.
Yeah.
You're just illuminating what you already know.
Right.
But if you think, but this thing that I'm looking at now, if this was an option, or if that was, what it's giving you is almost a map that doesn't take you where you want to go, but it gets you thinking about creating a map.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And a map that is consistent with how I think. And that's where the strategy, and that's where you start to change that story you're talking about. So, I mean, it's a starting point.
Right.
For some, maybe, like I say, I'm not a big goal person. I still believe that, I mean, goals are a direction, not necessarily a destination.
Agree.
So, I mean, let it be a starting point. But in the process of moving towards finding out what that's about, I start to learn, well, actually, this makes more sense to me.
Right.
And this makes more. So if I didn't move forward, at least starting in that direction, I wouldn't know what changes to make.
That's true.
So then I'm just arguing with my own discontent.
Right.
And, you get nothing from that. So if you have a starting point, at that point, and if you're making honest choices, the kind you would advise, then you're moving forward in a healthy process. Then the outcomes take care of themselves. You get healthy outcomes. But if I'm trying to prove something wrong, in the process of doing that, I'm eliminating the possibility of what I need to do right. And so it has to be a balance. Yeah, definitely don't like this. What do I like then?
Right. What can I pull from this to add to the arsenal of what I'm doing?
So, if that's working for me, keep it rolling. But if whoa, that doesn't go right. But now if they went over here, I think I would like that. So you're creating your own process from maybe even a theory that's totally one that you can't really be supportive of.
Right.
But it's a starting point.
Sure. And I don't want people to think either that I'm standing here like some charlatan saying that, look, the cognitive approach is I've found the way. Because that's not how the theory is built. The way the theory is built, it's built to customize while it unveils your truths. So it's your truths and your decisions that are unveiled by applying this approach to your life.
Right. It's illuminating how you're making erroneous process.
Right. So I'm not the guy saying, let me tell you how to get rich in 6 easy steps. Let me tell you how to get sober in 12 easy steps. No, I'm not saying that shit.
Right.
You know, this is the way I apply my sessions are intense and in your face, but you know, as we push through that, you know, the product at the end is customized to your truth, minus your emotions.
Right.
You know,
Well, but you'll still have emotion, but it's
the good emotion.
Exactly.
Right.
Because it's consistent with the truth.
Right.
But
and we should be clear about that. A lot of times we talk about separating truth from emotion, and I've had some people talk about us. Wait, are we walking around emotionless beings, just rational walls? And no, we're talking about how emotions can make lousy choices, but we can make truthful decisions that lead to positive emotions.
Exactly. I mean, emotions by themselves,
Right.
without the truth, lead to lousy choices. So that's why it's so important to be aware of the emotion. And do I support this? Would I recommend someone else to think this?
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't challenge the emotion, then I react to it.
Right.
Instead of responding to the truth, I'm reacting to the emotion.
Sure. And
So,
you know, and I'm willing to put in my rampage approach on the line to anything.
Yeah.
You know, if anybody's dealing with something they've been fighting for a long time or whatever, come see me. You know, let's do one session and see what happens. You know, and let's work through it. You know, 7, 6 years, 3 years, 10 years, something you've been fucking with. You know, you've tried pills or any which way, whatever. I urge those people. That's what I'm looking for, is the ones that you just can't seem to fix it. Give me one fucking session and let's see what we can do. And I say to people, I'm not a motivational fucking speaker, because I'm not here to hype you the fuck up. If I hype you up, that just goes away. That's just wind in a sail that blows out. Right. So I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not here to go, all right, pump your boys up. This is what you got to do. No, that's not what we're doing. You know, we get in, we do work, we work on something physically, mentally, emotionally, and process that. And, you know, I ramble because I get excited about the chances of, you know, helping people and getting to those people.
If there's any aspect of a motivational speaker, you're motivating them to find the truth.
Yeah,
their own truth.
You know, motivating someone to analyze themselves possibly and change the way they perceive their role in this play. But
and that's no small thing.
No, man. But tomorrow I'm psyched. You see it starting to build up already in me just thinking about it. You know, when I finally get to start rampaging about this theory and getting out there and showing people, I know it will help people, and I know how this works.
It does. I mean, in what I've been in this field a long time, and this approach, which is, you know, which is coupled with your own life experience and stuff.
A lot of my own life experience.
It's you see people say they've been going to, you know, treatment for 6 months, a year.
Yeah, that's right.
And they get more out of that one session than they got out of a whole year of therapy elsewhere.
I've had it, man.
Because it's a situation where they quit trying to figure out what other people's need for them to think, and they tap into what's already there. I mean, anything you're talking about that they're agreeing with is because they already know it.
Right.
They know it. You're just bringing it
just
back
reminding them. What we say, all humans are all knowing all the time. They just got to be reminded.
That's why therapists help about this much. That's it. I mean,
it's
everything is you.
Well, it's you that's willing to do the work, and willing to break up the concrete beliefs and take on those challenges of change.
Right.
The challenges of change are fun. We have to learn to embrace those, man. I love embracing the challenge of change.
Well, what's that quote? There's changeability in process, but invariance in outcome. Okay, that's the whole point. It's like I can keep changing that process to suit me, but once I start focusing on outcome, there is no change. I mean, it's invariance. That's solid then. I'm stuck with that outcome.
Sure, and for me, though, I want to focus on results because that's what I'm going to be measured by.
That's right.
I'm measured by results. I'm not measured by, we did this in 6 sessions, unveiled your childhood, and fixed you.
Right.
And we're not fixing you. That's it. That's not it. We're igniting you to a point. But, you know, it's that idea of, you know, it's not a sessional thing. It's not this process. For me, I need results as they need results. So when you see me, I'm going for the result. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm not poking around in your childhood to see how you feel about your mom.
Well, what's cool how this theory or this concept, philosophy, whatever you want to call it, as someone that's witnessing you take part in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see where they're chasing wants, not needs. You can see where what they're trying. I mean, it's very illuminating from a therapist standpoint, or, you know, from anyone who's from the outside being objective. But if you're in that, you know, you're too close to the forest to see the trees type of thing.
Yeah, I always say, seeing the forest from the leaves keep the wise men blind.
There you go. That's it. So I mean, the only thing about this is to know, yes, this is a great tool. This is life changing if you embrace it and see how it illuminates your own belief system, your own truths, and where you get your own dignity, your own sense of integrity back, because you really start to have a concept of who you are again. But you have to do it. I mean, happiness is a result of something. I mean, it just doesn't happen, and by complaining about it, you're just staying stuck in that muck. So, and it's true. People don't fail us; we fail ourselves if we don't do something to change the process.
That's right.
So,
and you know, maybe we'll make a few people uncomfortable tomorrow. My plan is I plan to make you very, very uncomfortable tomorrow, because that's where the change is.
It's coming at you like a fire hose.
I'm going to feed you with a fire hose tomorrow, baby birds. That I am. I promise you I'm coming hard. But, you know, we're talking about your life and changes and trying to do something different. We can't fuck around here, man. We got to get serious with it. But, you know, tomorrow, October 18th, I'm going to be at the Hampton Inn, 3210 Tamiami Trail. Standing room only is left. So get there at 10 o'clock. I'll have some food and stuff laid out, and I'll probably hit the stage about 11:15 or so. I think Leo's going to talk a little bit before me, kind of warm them up some. Get them ready for the give them the parental advisory before I come on stage.
I have to actually introduce this guy. Boy, I mean, how do you do that in 5 minutes? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, here comes this motherfucker. That could warm them up for what's coming.
Hey, don't be surprised. So
well,
there we go.
You know, I curse for reasons, but beyond that, man, I hope to see those. That if you're watching, if you're in the Naples area or surrounding area, come down. It's free. There's no charge to getting to talk. But like I said, it's going to be great. Going to be fun. And then our event will be November 1st in the same place at the Hampton Inn there. A real cognitive cave over there. You'll see what I mean. But November 1st, recognizing the right relationship. Me and Leo will be doing a talk rampage. But tomorrow, 10 to about 1 o'clock is the cognitive rampage approach. Uncomfortable is where the change is. Technically, my brother, we are signing off from Ustream.
Yep. It's been good too.
At least for now. I'll never say never, because you never know what will expand. But so you won't be seeing us live anymore. Like I said in the beginning, you'll be able to catch our podcast. We'll be on the Apple Podcast Network. My show, Cognitive Rampage, Talking the Human Experience. Leo's show, Truth Not Emotion, Getting It Right with Relationships. His show will also be on the podcast network as of next week. So be on the lookout for those. There is a Cognitive Rampage YouTube page now. Please find that page. I got a few, 5 or 6 small lessons on there. I'll be posting the recording of the Talk Rampages, trailers, and snippets from tomorrow's event. Will get posted on the YouTube page. But this is it for Ustream for now. It's been fun. You won't have to see my ugly face at least anymore in this awkward setting. We're turning to a real live studio, moving offices hopefully in the next month or two. So that's tons of exciting stuff. Keep the emails coming in. I do read every one of them personally. So if it's an extended time before I answer, just give me time. I like to be involved personally with what people are emailing and asking. I think that covers it. But for now, I think we're signing off at the Cognitive Rampage Ustream in the Cognitive Cave.
Yep, how about that?
I'll see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning. Cognitive Rampage, baby. Coming at you tomorrow. We'll see you.
Take care now.